Welcome back to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park for round 8 of the iRacing British Touring Car Championship here on BSR TV with me, Chris Cohen. What an exciting round 7 it was. If you missed out on round 7, highly recommend you go back and watch that race. It's all going to be there on our YouTube channel, but don't go anywhere for now. We've got 2 more races from Mosport coming up, hopefully both of those equally as exciting as the last. That last race was won by Stelian Chepelevsky. Stefan Hoog was in second position for most of the race, with the third place going to Jamie Rushworth, until, for some reason, it looks like Hoog probably disconnected, I believe, and that granted second place to the Movie Go Racing driver, Jamie Rushworth. So we saw a lot of action out on the track, all kinds of random incidents. Not exactly the cleanest start, but wasn't too bad. Let's see what we can do in round 8, which is going to be coming your way in about 6 minutes. The drivers will be making their way down to the grid. In the meantime, just time to tell you about our other BSR TV broadcasts, which are coming your way Monday. And the Skip Barber series is going to be from 8:40 UK time on Monday evening. A fantastic chance to watch some open wheel racing in what is an extremely close competition between all of the drivers. Everyone's showing good pace and a lot of racing respect in that series as well. It's a fascinating watch and one of the most enjoyable series to have been watched by me, at least, on the iRacing service. And Wednesdays, the BSR Carrera Cup continues. Yesterday we saw Diego Camuni go top of the table after some impressive finishes, including a race win from this very circuit from Mosport, and he is on top form at the moment, but the competition again is very stiff. The Italians, GT Italia, doing extremely well. The Danes, Team iRacing Denmark, they're also doing extremely well, and a number of other teams showing out very, very strongly in that series. So that's from 8:50 in the evening UK time on Wednesdays. We've got a whole huge lineup of BSR British Touring Car tracks to race on this season. This is season 4. Of course, season 3 was won by Andreas Katz not too long ago, after a very long and hard season. But there's 30 rounds in this season. This is only round 8, so there's still all to play for. Simon Field going into this. In fact, let's have a quick look at the standings now. Simon Field going into the evening was leading the championship by 8 points from Adrian Holm, and neither of those drivers are actually out there tonight. Field and Holm both absent. Hoog had a terrible finish, and Terry came home in 12th. So with Holm and Field absent, they're going to slip off the top of the championship. Chepelevsky looking to make his way up from that 9th position. Definitely strengthens his case with that race win. But this is touring cars, we always say. Absolutely anything can happen, and usually does as well. And we're going to go down to the track in just a moment so we can have a look at how these drivers are warming up at the moment. The quickest driver in practice so far is Ashley Sutton, who didn't do so well in the last race. Some kind of incident we didn't see, some kind of incident that happened there. I'm not sure exactly what. And we saw a couple of drivers getting it a little bit wrong on the brakes into turn number 1, and that had the effect of spearing them into the pit wall. And Van Lozenoord was one of those drivers who speared into the pit wall and then came back across the track and took out Robert Fagg. So Robert Fagg having to recover from that in race number 2. We'll see what he can do from there. A great finish for Rushworth, a great finish for Tim Mawson as well, who came home in 5th place. Just absolutely steamrolled his way up the field to that kind of finish, and we're not used to seeing that sort of performance from him, but he's obviously come to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park with the intent of getting as high up the field as he possibly can, and doing a very good job of that as it stands at the moment. We usually have onboard cameras from this man, Robert Plumley. Unfortunately not available for this particular race, but if that changes for the next race will let you know. You can switch over on the YouTube page. If you're watching on a computer, you can switch over to his cameras and watch the race from his point of view all the way through, if you so choose. Again, not available for this race, unfortunately. A slight technical problem with that. YouTube live events and all that still getting themselves worked out. Also not available on mobile and tablet yet. So I'm hoping that... oh, a lot of smoke coming across the track there. Hope nothing's untoward is going on. Didn't quite see the reason for that smoke. But yeah, hopefully on the mobile and tablet that will be sorted out before too long, and you'll be able to switch to what we hope will be a plethora of cameras for your viewing pleasure. On my own this evening in the commentary box, so you've got nothing but Chris Cohen for the next roughly 15-minute race, and again through into round 9. And this chap here, Richard Weil for Welsh Motorsport, we haven't seen a lot of him. We didn't see him at all during the first race, not really sure what happened to him. He's usually quick, but 26th fastest at the moment in the warm-up session indicates that perhaps this isn't his best track. He's going to have to prove me wrong on that one in the second race. Hoog is back. Hoog is back on track with a bit of a dented front end on that number 111 machine there, driving for Bianco, but had what we think was a disconnect last time out, so didn't finish too well. In fact, we have the results up here so we can find out. Yeah, finished in the end, got classified in 40th position. So still scores points, don't forget. As long as you finish the race, as long as you grid, basically, you will score some points for your team, but not as many points as he would have hoped for. New driver out there for Yuasa Racing. Doesn't yet have the Yuasa paint on his car. He's that fresh into the team. Is Stuart Sterling, and Sterling was 33rd in that last race, just behind Richard Wild. So yet to prove himself, but good to have new drivers coming into the series all the time. The drivers are going to be making their way down to the grid any moment. Let's see if we can bring you that grid once it becomes available. Now the reverse grid will be in effect here, so that means Ellis Stevens is your pole position. Michael Hall lines up on the right hand side for CQR Fusion, CQR Takata, sorry, and Laura Bond is starting 3rd, Linus Brewstrom 4th, Webb 5th, Mawson 6th, Reggie Blaine for Movie-Go Racing 7th, Katz 8th, Rushworth 9th, and the last race winner, Stelian Chepelevsky, is in 10th place. Just the top 10 places have been reversed here. Fascinated to see what can happen off the line. As we're getting ready to go racing at Mosport in round 8. Can Stevens hold on to this lead for any significant amount of time? It will do the world of good for the eBay Motors team if he can, but he's got some stiff competition from behind. We have lights. We're ready to go racing. 10 laps around Mosport. Round 8 is underway. Stevens leads the field away. Already Mawson pulls to the centre, in the hopes of making up some places off the start. Stevens is going to hold it. Everyone pretty much single file through there. Oh, and a big gap in the field. Oh, I can hear some kind of incident going on already just off camera, as we make sure all those other cars manage to get through. What's happened to Stevens? He's still going. So Stevens already under attack, under immediate attack there from Michael Hall. And we've lost Reggie Blaine. Reggie Blaine is off. Let's see if we can find out what happened to Reggie Blaine from the start. Let's go back to the start if we can with Reggie Blaine, because he was going fairly well. Gets collected from behind. Is that Andreas Katz who turns him round there? I think it is. That's Katz, then the number 1. He's speared into the barrier there. Is that Chepelevsky just behind? Can he stay out of trouble? He collides with Katz as well. And we've got cars going all over the place. That's one of the Airwaves cars becoming another victim of iRacing dodgy physics, and there's a huge pile up on the inside of the track there. That was all instigated by Andreas Katz getting into the back of Reggie Blaine. Is that an eBay Motors car? Is that Katz spinning in the distance? Well, that's just what we didn't want to see at the start, especially with so many big names there in that Airways car needs quite a lot of repairs, I would say. So Reggie Blaine takes the tow then. Ellis Stevens completes the first lap. He is still leading this race. Michael Hall has had some kind of incident because he is down to 4th. And 2nd place, Matthew Webb, stamping his authority on this race. But the former champion, for now anyway, is leading this race as we enter lap number 2. Now a little bit further down the field, Nick McCarron for 888, just coming round turn number 3. Robert Plumley just behind him, being challenged by Ashley Sutton. Now Sutton will want to get past these guys. He'll think he's the faster driver than both Plumley and McCarron, but it's up to him to find a way round if he can do so. Eckhart von Glan, very good race for him so far in 13th, just behind. Sutton's looking quite threatening as we come down to the tightest part of the circuit. Sneaks down the inside of Robert Plumley. Can he make this one work? Plumley gives him just about enough room. He'll have the run down the long straight under the bridge here. Or will he? Plumley's got a very good exit there as well. So the two of these cars are side by side. I think Sutton's just got him beat on pace, and he will take that 11th position away from Robert Plumley. In fact, he does indeed. In the meantime, Chepalevsky is still going. That car is looking decidedly battered, but he holds on to 8th place for the moment. Christian Rose is just up in front of him. What's happened to Stefan Hoog? Stefan Hoog is right down there, coming out of the pits in last place, so I assume he got caught up in that first corner incident. That's a shame to see that. As well, Brewstrom is down in 26th, so it looks like it's falling apart for the movie Go Racing team. Much better race so far from Russell Laidler, as Von Glan is just up ahead of this group here. Oh, who's that? It's a slow Dynojet car there. That's it's Peter Van Gool just being lapped there. It wasn't on the lead lap. So Russell Laidler currently in 15th place. But look at this. Marcus Narris for KX Momentum is in the 9th place. Nick McCarron is behind him. And behind him is Ashley Sutton, who is on a charge to make up positions here. So McCarron, with his eye on that 9th place as we look back at his car. Sutton moves to the inside. Surely he can't take the position. He does. He goes down the inside. He's going to take this position away from Nick McCarron to move up into 10th place. Oh, Manaris gets very, very, very squiggly. Almost takes out Sutton. And just behind these guys as well. Who is that in the Pertec machine there? Don't know if that machine is on the lead lap. Robert Plumley is still hanging on to this one, challenging Nick McCarron around the outside of turn 1. And I believe that's George Wright just up in front, but he is now a lap down, or soon will be, because McCarron's chasing him down. And already Sutton is starting to, well, he's got a long way to go, but he's starting to chip away at that gap to Chepalevsky in front. Chepalevsky is still in 8th place, and he is challenging Christian Rose. Christian Rose driving for CQR Takata. Oh, takes a lot of curb. That's really going to hurt his exit speed. Chepalevsky's going to have the run at him here on lap 4 from Mosport to come over this really bumpy, really long straight part of the circuit. Andreas Katz is a lap down, but he is just behind. You can see him with the green mirrors in the back of the picture. Chepalevsky's not got the pace to get past Rose this time, so he's going to stay in 8th place. And that gap back to Sutton is now 2 seconds. So Chepalevsky's going to have to get round Rose or face the wrath of Sutton when he finally arrives. You can just see him coming through there in the background. At the front, meanwhile, Stevens still leads the way. Ellis Stevens, after 4 laps, are on to lap 5 now. And the front 5 are separated by only a second and a half, right down to Adam Terry in 5th place. Stevens doing very well to hold on to this one so far. Laura Bond is running in 3rd place. Matthew Webb is in 2nd. So wouldn't that be a great result because there's two for Bianco anyway. There's two Bianco drivers in the top 5 at the moment. Oh, Michael Hall runs very wide. Terry's going to be looking for a way around. Can he get the run on Michael Hall down this long straight? It doesn't look like it, not this time around. You really need to pick your exit very carefully to that rather slow double right-hander if you stand any chance of getting past the guy in front of you. Hall goes defensive down the inside. Make sure Terry stays behind on this lap at least. But look at this up front. Matthew Webb is challenging for the lead of this race. Just half a second behind current race leader Ellis Stevens. And now the gap back to Ashley Sutton from this battle with Christian Rose and Stelian Chepelevsky is just a second, just over 1 second now. So before long, Sutton is going to be on the back of these guys. He's the only guy on the circuit except Jamie Rushworth who is in the 1:23 lap times. And of course Rushworth and Blaine and Brewstrom as well, all involved in that early incident. 3 MovieGo Racing drivers involved in that one. Backmarkers starting to play a little bit of a role now. Those 2 cars up in front, the blue Airwaves and the orange Dynojet, are both backmarkers. Christian Rose is going to have to get both of those out of the way and keep Chepelevsky and Katz, who's also a backmarker, behind him. And Sutton is coming up on this group pretty quickly. Sutton now following last season's champion Andreas Katz in the number 1 eBay, but Katz is a lap down. That won't stop Katz going for the overtake if he is a lot faster than these other drivers. That's worth bearing in mind. Katz currently running in 37th place. Not going to be the finish that he was after that first corner incident earlier in the race. The leader's coming on to lap 7 in just a moment, but Sutton looks to have the pace as the traffic starts to queue up here. Those 2 backmarkers really need to get out of the way and let these faster guys through. Otherwise that's going to cause these guys some pretty large problems. And the 2 backmarkers are not significantly slower. That's the issue at the moment. Sutton just taking a little bit of gravel in the background there. So gets on the dirt and keeps it in check. Still no way round Christian Rose for Stelian Chepelevsky. Might try down the inside here. Sutton is all over the back of Andreas Katz. A huge line of cars, some on the lead lap, some not. And the gap back to 10th place from Ashley Sutton is now 8 seconds. Oh, Michael Hall's off. What's happened to Michael Hall? We've lost Michael Hall. Let's go back and see if we can find out what happened to him on the replay. And Michael Hall was driving for CQR Ultimate here, and one of the Pertecs just behind him there. And the Pertecs just not braked there. Seemed to have collided with the back of Michael Hall and completely taken him out there. Let's see if we can go back and have another look at that one. And that Pertec belongs to George Wright, who was in last place on the circuit. And yeah, just accelerates into the corner instead of slowing down. And well, we don't like to come to too many conclusions in the commentary box because you can see it for yourself, but that looked pretty deliberate. We'll have to find out more about that one later. In the meantime, it is now a Bianco 2-3. Ellis Stevens leads. What has happened to Matthew Webb? He is down in 8th place. Oh, and he's off. We've lost Matthew Webb. What happened to Matthew Webb? We'll see if we can find out what happened to him. Here's a replay. As he's just coming around past the start-finish straight now. And he's just lost it on his own, I think. Just gone wide at turn 2, the dreaded turn 2. And those tyres will put an end to his race because he was challenging for the lead. We didn't see what caused him to drop back to 8th, but we definitely saw what caused him to crash out of the race. Bond and Terry now will not challenge each other for position, I don't believe. And Stevens might well be safe, having a 2-car buffer. The RCIB car of Tim Mawson, who finished 5th in the last race, is now up to 4th place, and Chepelevsky up to 7th. But how does Sutton get around these guys? We've missed all that in all that action. Sutton has jumped both Christian Rose and Stelian Chepelevsky and is now in 5th place. So Chepelevsky still seeks a way past Rose, but gains a position nonetheless. And it's still 7 seconds back to the next cars. Meanwhile, Russell Laidler in 9th place is under attack from Robert Fagg, who tries to go around the outside. Eckhart von Glan is right behind these guys as well. So Robert Fagg doing well to recover. He's in 10th place right now, but Laidler is currently stopping him from getting any higher. That's von Glan. Hefford's running 12th in actual fact, so he's a little way off these guys at the moment. I'll have a look back from Russell Laidler's CQR Fusion machine. And a touch from Fagg there as he's late on the brakes. Laidler keeps it in check, and both drivers taking a huge amount of curb there, and I'm sure that wasn't deliberate, but didn't help either of those drivers, especially considering Eckhart von Glan is right behind these two. They are side by side now. Fagg challenging, but he has the outside line. It's the more difficult line. He won't be able to get around without a huge amount of guts here. Fagg still almost level. Has to tuck it back in the end and withdraw from that one. That number 9 Speedworks is not getting past Russell Laidler in a hurry. Meanwhile, up at the front, Ellis Stevens still leads this race from pole position. It's coming up on one of the CQR Fusion drivers, who is currently a lap down. Not sure which one of those it is. Could be Martin Johnson. Laura Bond 2nd, Adam Terry 3rd, and Tim Mawson is going to lose this place. He's going to lose 4th place to Ashley Sutton, and he's lost control of the car. Tim Mawson spins it, takes out 2 other cars as well. Now who's that? That's Chepelevsky. He's taken out Chepelevsky and Christian Rose. Oh, and there's a... Who's that coming through? There's another car just managing to avoid these guys. Oh, disaster for Tim Mawson. And, well, Chepelevsky gets it going again. And Christian Rose as well. But let's go back and have a look at that one in just a moment. Because Ellis Stevens is coming over the finish line now to win round 8 from Mosport. A great victory from Ellis Stevens. He was gifted the pole position by virtue of the reverse grid, but held on to it well. Laura Bond, Adam Terry, Ashley Sutton comes home 4th. Christian Rose is now battling with Chepelevsky, and there's more action going on behind as Laidler gets into Plumley, and well, last corner incident there, and well, it's difficult to say what's going on now, but cars all over the place, absolutely all over the place, and they have cleared the start-finish line, so that shouldn't matter now. Let's see if we can get the results on the screen. In fact, let's go back and see if we can have a look at that last corner. Let's go back a little bit further than that on the cameras. And that's not the camera we want at all. So let's go back and choose a reasonable camera this time. So Laidler right behind Robert Plumley here. And that's Robert Fagg just behind. Chepelevsky's just up in front there. Laidler sticks it down the inside very late, and it's hard to see how Plumley would have been able to see that one coming. Gets into the side of Plumley and takes the position away from him as well there, so that is a little bit on the controversial side as well. But let's go back and see if we can see what happened to Tim Mawson. Can we have a look at that? I'm not sure if we can, but we'll give it a go. Because that was huge. That was absolutely huge from Tim Mawson before. I don't believe this is the right place in the replay. So let's go back a little bit further on the tape, if we can. So Tim Mawson is being challenged here by Ashley Sutton. And then Mawson just loses control of the car, spins it round on the track. The 3 drivers behind. Oh, and that's Christian Rose is off. Katz gets into the back of Chepalewski, who collects Mawson. And all of that was Tim Mawson having a little bit of a spin on the last lap. Can we see that again from Tim Mawson's point of view? There's a slow car up in front. Mawson has to go round. This is when Sutton takes his opportunity to strike. Oh, just comes through there. Perhaps catches Mawson by surprise. Over recovers it, and yeah, that is how that one ended up. Results then on your screen with the correct points for once here. Stevens takes the race from Bond, from Terry. Look at that, 2 Biancos in the top 3. Ashley Sutton, Christian Rose. Chepalewski comes home in 6th in the end. Laidler 7th, Fag in 8th, Mawson in 9th. Plumley is in 10th place there. Von Glan takes 11th. Great finish for Stuart Sterling in 12th place. Richard Wilde recovers well for 13th. Malcolm 14th. Matt Walker and Marcus Naris 15th and 16th for KX Momentum. And Linus Brewstrom manages to get it back up to 17th for Movie Go. Jordan 18th, Smolensky 19th, and Steve Richardson is there in 20th place. So, that was a very exciting race again. I don't know if it topped the other race or not. Perhaps it did. Wow, incredible. And we've still got one more race to go this evening. So round 9 of the iRacing British Touring Car Championship will be coming from Mosport in about 10 minutes time. Again live, again hopefully very exciting. Another reverse grid to contend with. So that means Stevens is going to be down to 10th place on the grid. See what he can do from there. Hope you'll join us in a few minutes for round 9. Just advance to the next YouTube video and it will be with you very shortly. Thanks for watching. See you soon.